Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Nono, and in today's video we're going to take a look at common grammatical inaccuracies, which relates to perfect tenses, passive or active. So we're going to look at ways in order to simplify in which scenarios we use what, and the tenses as well. Okay, so let's take a look.
Okay, so let's take a look at the perfect tenses, active or passive. So what we're going to be doing is, first of all, overview, comparison, active versus passive, and finally, the summary of what we have covered so far. Okay, so let's take a look at the overview. Active and passive, the roles of active and passive forms respectively, we have to look at that in order to know the meanings of the respective forms in a sentence. And finally, the tenses. Okay, so let's look at active and its role. So when we look at active forms, we know that the subject, also known as the doer, is the one who actively performs the task. So in this case, we can say that the active forms are the ones which are used for the situations which can change by themselves. Okay, and that's why we say that these are the active performers involved in the active form. And for example, attitudes about weather changes have changed. So in this case, the attitudes are the active performers. So because the attitudes actively change by themselves, it's going to be the role of active performers in the sentence. So as for passive, we also know that when an object that is influenced by another aspect or subject, we use it. We use the passive form. So we can say overall that passive form is the form we want to use to state a situation which is changed by someone or something. So in conclusion, we're going to say that passive mainly includes the influenced objects, as seen right here, the influenced objects. Okay, so the next slide, the tenses, comparison of the tenses. Okay, so first of all, both of the tenses use perfect tense. Okay, so whether simple or continuous for the perfect tenses, which means has or had plus past participle for both active and passive, to talk about situations which have already happened in the past. So we do that, and for this area of focus, I would strongly recommend to check out the video prior to this, which emphasized on the simple and continuous aspects of the perfect tenses. Okay, so anyway, whether to use has, which is the present perfect, or had, which is the past perfect, it depends on the situation having effects on the present or not. Okay, so for example, let's see right here. The weather patterns have been changing. This is active. So this tense is the present perfect continuous. So this has an effect on the present, although it has been happening for like over years from the past, and it's still happening now. So that means we still have a visible and discernible impact on the present. And this has also been happening in a continuous manner, and that's why we use present perfect continuous. And notice how we used have, because it's a present perfect continuous, because it's still affecting the present. Okay, so let's take a look at passive. So, for example, the effect of diet on health has been proved. So, it is research, so it does have a discernible effect on the present or on people's minds. So in this case, research proved this effect, and therefore people's minds are influenced to believe this fact as a confirmation from the people who are considered experts. So this has, knowing this, we know that it has an effect on the present moment, and that's why we use has. And we do have to remember that it has to have a perfect connection to the singular subject, and then that's why we use a singular verb right here, has. But for the example, we used have because it's the patterns. The patterns is like a plural noun, so we do have to consider that. So that is all about the comparison of the two.
And just like that, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope everything worked out fine, and we'll see you in another video.